Welcome to Political Beatdown. You've got Michael Cohen and you've got me, Ben Meiselas. Let's just get right into it, Michael Cohen, since there was breaking news just moments before we went live where the Manhattan District Attorney filed a notice regarding of about 31,000 documents that were just turned over by the United States Attorney's Office that could potentially be relevant in the criminal case against Donald Trump, which is currently set for trial on March 25th, 2024. I saw there was video footage of you, I think, showing up to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office that was shown by some other networks that they said was as part of kind of the preparation. So everybody thought this trial was definitely going to happen on March 25th, 2024. Here in the notice, the Manhattan District Attorney says that in light of the fact that there was these 31,000 pages of documents that were just turned over, even the Manhattan DA would be agreeable to a 30-day adjournment of the trial date currently scheduled for March 25th. That would bring it to the end of April. Trump is requesting a 90-day adjournment. To be clear, the Manhattan District Attorney said that their office requested these very same documents from the Department of Justice over a year ago, and the DOJ did not respond to that. Then Donald Trump requested it in January of this past year, January 18th, 2024, to be exact. And literally, just very recently, this 31,000 pages were produced. And then there's another batch of
I think it's like 73,000 in total. Something
73,000 already, I think, plus this 31,000, plus the DOJ says it's going to produce a batch next week. And now this could potentially impact the trial date. You're a witness in that trial. Obviously, Cohen, there are limitations we all respect on about what you can and can't say, but obviously I can't ignore this breaking news with or without you on this show. So I'm just going to bring it up. Any reaction that you can provide?
Yeah. In fact, I've been contacted by virtually every single journalist from television to print. I was asked by my counsel not to make any comments regarding this. Obviously, the document speaks for itself. The District Attorney of New York's office have been asking for, I believe in total, it's 73,000, not more than that. They received 31,000. There's another batch coming of another 40. That's the way I read the document. And much of the documents have nothing to do with this case at all. And so the only thing I do know is that all the parties are supposedly conferring with the judge sometime this evening in order to make the determination whether it's going to be up to 30 days. So the judge can turn around and say, there's not that many documents. You can go through it in 2 weeks or 1 week or 3 weeks or a month. We will all know more tomorrow. There's so much breaking news in so many different areas. It's really difficult. And one of the things, Ben, that you and I have promised our brigaders is, unlike in other locations, other news outlets, we don't peddle in innuendo. We peddle in, we don't peddle at all. We provide facts. We provide information based upon legitimate reporting. We don't know enough here other than the fact that they are entitled to these documents. Hell, I've been asking for the same fucking documents now for over 3 years, actually for more than that. We're supposed to have gotten them also. Going back into 2020, I think it was, Ted Lieu, Hakeem Jeffries asked for documents. So did Congressman Raskin and Congressman Steve Cohen and Senator Dick Durbin. They all asked for investigations and so on. Look, this whole thing, unfortunately, is going to create a delay. But you know what? Everyone's entitled. Everyone is entitled, including Von Schitzenpants. Everyone is entitled to a defense, and we should want that, because if we didn't want it, and hypothetically they didn't get this 30-day extension, you know what would end up happening? They would file it on appeal and they would probably win. So, you know what big deal, 30 days, who cares? Ben, your mic is off, by the way, pal. Yep.
No, thank you there. Yeah,
There you go.
even if it was Donald Trump as a criminal defendant, you are entitled to this discovery. And Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg even recognized that and said, "Look, this wasn't because of our delay at all.
To the
This was."
contrary.
Yeah, to the contrary, we demanded this stuff over a year ago. But no, I think that Donald Trump's entitled to at least look at these records. I don't think a 90-day delay makes sense here at all. I think that probably somewhere between 30 and 45 days is ultimately where it will land. We should also remember that there is a oral argument before the Supreme Court on, I believe it's April 25th in the Washington, D.C. criminal case against Trump. So that 30 days puts you into that week of April. So I could see it going perhaps a week or another week, after that because of that oral argument. But this case is going to go. It's a matter of when it's going to happen, not if it's going to happen. And I'm with you. I'd rather deal with this issue now than have to deal with potential reversible error if during the trial all of a sudden these documents started to be produced. That would create real issues. So you and I are on the same page there.
Ben, one of the things also, yes, Donald and his counsel, they're excellent at delay. However, so many of our brigaders, they're getting upset, freaking out. For what reason? This case 100% will take place before the November election. It will also take place before the cutoff date that, Main Justice can turn around and say, or the DA can turn around and say it would be interfering in a presidential election, which none of us should want. None of us should want that. And it's not going to happen. So if there's a 30-day or a 14-day or a 45-day extension, it doesn't make a difference. This case is going forward. Plain and simple. It is what it is. Everything, there's delays in everything. I mean, for God's sakes, you're moving into your house and, your couch gets delayed because of, some shipping issue or, a massive hurricane in somewhere in the route. Okay. You're going to get your couch. They're going to get these documents. They're going to be able to go through the documents. I don't personally, again, I have no idea what these documents are. I've been asking for the same documents from FOIA and from Southern District of New York for God knows how long. Look, that USAO office, they have their issues. And down the road, I truly believe that office needs to be reviewed. They like to play that they're the sovereign district of New York. There is no such thing as a sovereign district. You're part of the Justice Department, and they should have turned that shit over to the DA a long time ago. My personal opinion.
Well, it's being turned over now. Have the opportunity to review all of those documents. You noted that you believe there will be some sort of meeting with Judge Merchan tonight, which I think is some piece of new data to determine what's going to happen with this trial date. And then we will, as soon as we know here, we will report to all of our beatdown brigaders right away. And because of that update, you and I were going to do a live Zoom chat with our brigaders today in order to kind of respect the process about what's currently happening and in light of that breaking news. And so we can appropriately respond to the questions, because you and I don't want to give any type of hypotheticals. We know we're going to be asked questions about that. We really want to respect the process and everything that's happening there.
Absolutely.
And then on Tuesday, we will do our Patreon Live when we have clarity about the specific dates and deadlines and times. And obviously, Michael Cohen's getting inundated right now with a ton of requests. This will impact his schedule as well. So we just want to be respectful of all of that. I hope you understand, Beatdown Brigader. So in light of that, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, this is
Patreon.
happening. We're having it on Tuesday, my friends.
We're
So,
doing it on Tuesday.
get ready. And it's not even only this specific hush money case or, the business record fraud case or the campaign finance violation case, whatever it is that you want to call this case. There's so much going on right now, whether it's with the Fonnie Willis with the Georgia case, the Supreme Court. And what we want to do is we really want to be able to sit with our Patreon subscribers, and we want to be able to answer your questions because it gives you the opportunity one-on-one to engage with both Ben and myself. And our goal, again, is only to provide facts. Right now, if we went and we did it, I would be saying the same exact thing. I just don't have enough requisite knowledge or information within which to give you a legitimate answer. And that's not what we're about. Like I said, what you get from Political Beatdown, what you get on the Midas Touch Network, what you get over at Mea Culpa and the Legal AF and the Meiselas brothers, you don't get innuendo, you get fact. And that's important because when we're sitting and we're battling with MAGAs, right? When we're sitting and we're battling with these far right wing lunatics, it's so important that you are armed with correct factual information, not the made up bullshit that they like to do. So don't sweat this. And as the document says, up to 30 days. Listen, there could be, and again, this is pure hypothetical. I don't know, which is why we're pushing it off till Tuesday. But Tuesday, we're going to know in a lot of cases what's going on. What if hypothetically, out of all of the documents, the only documents that are relevant maybe amount to 200 or even 500? We don't know how many of these documents are even relevant to the case. So that being said, he could turn around and say, whoa, 500 documents, you're getting 5 days. Or maybe it's 1,000. He says you're going to get 10 days, whatever it might be. That's for Judge Merchan. And look, one thing that everybody needs to understand, Merchan doesn't play games. He's doing the right thing for this case. He's doing the right thing for the rule of law. And everything that he's doing, I actually happen to agree with. I really do. I agree with it, and it doesn't matter. 30 days, 40 days, 5 days, 10 days, doesn't make a difference. I almost feel like Mike Corleone, right? When he's dealing with Apollonia, right? A Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Look at me, Michael, I'm driving. It's the same thing. Doesn't matter. 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. Who cares?
And Donald Trump's whole entire shtick with everything is never actually confront the charges against him. It's always delay. But what you've shown before, Michael Cohen, when Donald Trump tried to do that in the case where he sued you for $300 or $500 million, whatever the amount was, you said, okay, I'm going to take your debt. Trump every one of those things from his sociopathic playbook. You stuck with it. And then what happened when Donald Trump was finally confronted, where he had to show up for his deposition? He ran away like the coward that he is, and he dismissed the case. You look at E. Jean Carroll. Donald Trump tried to do everything possible not to have to post the bond, not to have to go and get a surety bond. He used every sociopathic tactic in the playbook. He said, E. Jean Carroll doesn't want me to even have to get the bond. And Judge, you know that I have all the money. Come on, Judge. Can I please have your help, Judge? It's also ironic that he cites federal Judge Lewis Kaplan as well. Did you notice this, Cohen, in his claim about his advice of counsel defense or his semi-advice of counsel defense that he wants to claim to put on?
Yeah,
he cites really Judge weird. Kaplan.
Yeah, the whole thing was really weird. First of all, it's not a legitimate advice of counsel argument. It's some sort of a hybrid with something I've actually never even seen before, or to be honest with you, fully understand. It just doesn't make any sense. If you go on the notion of advice of counsel, you got to put your ass on the stand. Yep. And you're going to have to swear to testimony that is the basis for the advice of counsel. But he's not taking the stand. Are you kidding? this fucking lunatic, this moron, the one who didn't know the difference between E. Jean Carroll and Marla Maples. Every time that you have seen Donald Trump giving testimony, right, recorded testimony, either you saw him doing the hand shuffle, talking about something that's completely unrelated to the question, screwing the whole thing up like he did with E. Jean Carroll and Marla Maples, or taking the fifth. He's not going to get on the stand in a criminal trial. Can you imagine what you're talking about? The guy doesn't know the truth from a lie because everything that comes out of his mouth is bullshit. He doesn't even remember the lie that he told 5 minutes ago, which is why it is so hard working for him. It's nearly impossible trying to get on television and to stay on Donald's message. It's impossible.
Yeah. So the case that he cited for his semi-advice of counsel defense involved a very limited issue about data retention that federal judge Lewis Kaplan allowed Sam Bankman-Fried to testify about. But guess what? Sam Bankman-Fried, number one, was sentenced to over 100 years in prison. So first off, is that the case
you want to rely upon?
Is that the case you want to cite? And also, Sam Bankman-Fried took the stand and had to actually testify to those facts. So the case is totally not on point here for those reasons. But yes, Donald, please give a citation to a case where the criminal defendant was sentenced to over 100 years.
You know what? We're all hoping that he starts to cite the Rosenberg case. To those of you who don't remember the Rosenberg case, they were both tried for treason and executed.
Cohen, right here you have Donald Trump posting the following. He goes, the Hur report was revealed today, a disaster for Biden, a two-tiered standard of justice. Artificial intelligence was used by them against me in their videos of me. Can't do that, Joe. You see, what's Donald Trump even talking about there in these posts? So he's now blaming everything on AI. And you and I several months ago had said that was the direction he was going to go in with the development of AI. The way Trump and MAGA try to latch on to anything, they're going to claim AI is the cause of all of this. So he's also posted this a few weeks back. These are photos of this is what Donald Trump is spending time doing. He goes, the fake news used artificial intelligence AI to create the picture on the top left. These are despicable people, but everyone knows that. The other pictures are me hitting golf balls today to show the difference. Sadly, in our country, fake news is all you get. And then a few weeks before that, he posted the perverts and losers at the failed and once disbanded Lincoln Project and others are using artificial intelligence in their fake television commercials in order to make me look as bad and pathetic as crooked Joe Biden. Not an easy thing to do. And if you're wondering, well, what is he even talking about when he's saying that they're using AI? Well, during that hearing of Robert Hur, the Democrats played a compilation of recent speeches that Donald Trump gave to show Trump being in cognitive decline. So Trump is saying that is AI. And so, Salty, I think we have this clip of the Democrat showing the Trump gaffe reel. Let's play this if we got it.
Appeared in your report, though. Is that correct? The word photographic?
That does not appear in my report.
I now want to show you and play a video of what is absolutely not photographic.
In the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless coward.
We're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation.
And I watch our police and our firemen down in 7-Eleven, down at the World Trade Center.
And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won.
This is the very definition of totalitarianism.
And let me begin by wishing you a beautiful look. Do you remember this? Do you remember?
God bless the United States. The windmills are driving them crazy. They're driving They're driving
Time of the
the
gentleman.
whales, I think, a little batty.
Time
And
of
I
the
went to
gentleman
Puerto
has
Rico,
expired.
and I met with the president of the
And you saw Jim Jordan there shut the video down.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Look, everybody can see that he's in a state of decline. He's definitely in a state of not only cognitive decline, but the stress that he is currently under. Remember, the guy is, 78 years old. He's only like 2.5 years younger than Joe Biden. Here's the distinction. One, Joe Biden's actually a healthy guy. He's a guy that is known to get on a bicycle and go for a bike ride to do something to keep him going. Okay, Donald gets into a golf cart. He hits a couple golf balls here and there. By the way, he does hit a long ball. It's an ugly swing, but he does hit a long ball. Donald has right now, I want people to think about this, 4 ongoing criminal cases. He got kicked in the nutsack with the 2 E. Jean Carroll cases. He got just the shit kicked out of him by the New York Attorney General with a $500 million verdict. That's a lot of pressure for any one person to be under. Not only is he being decimated financially, and rightfully so, don't get me wrong, I'm not defending the guy. Not only is he being financially decimated, and he cares more about money than he does his own kids. Now, on the line is not just these criminal cases, but his freedom. So it's not just financial, it's the distinction between freedom and incarceration. So this is a real issue here for him. His mind is in 100 different places. On top of that, he's cognitively impaired. He looks like shit. And by the way, the first picture of him, that's an old photo, pre-Ozempic. All right? There's no doubt in my mind that Donald Trump has Ozempic face. When everything starts to fall and so on, he was told he's got to lose weight. The guy was morbidly obese. So that big gut in the top left, Salty, if you could show it again, that ain't AI. Now, it reminds me, there you go. I wish we could zoom in on that thing. I think he's carrying twins. But the other ones that were taken today or relatively within days, post Ozempic, post him starting. And you could see, it's like, his suits are extremely, extremely large. You could see what I'm talking about. But that's okay. That's okay. Good for him. Fuck it. Half the fucking country's on Ozempic or some semaglutide. The country's on so much of it that people who have diabetes can't get the medication because people are using it for weight loss. Okay. You know what they call that? They call that a rich man's problem. All right. Let the manufacturers produce more. Not my concern. Let me tell you what my concern is. My concern is the fact that it took this long to finally get the guy to the doorstep. We were literally 2 weeks away from the doorstep of holding him accountable, which he knew. And they are doing everything, and they will continue to do everything. They will continue to do everything to delay this because Donald Trump's only possibility of staying out of trouble and not having a conviction is legitimately delaying this to the point that they cannot have the trial because it's too close to the election, and that's improper.
But Cohen, you are confident that this Manhattan District Attorney case, though, goes before the November election. You're confident in that?
Very confident. There is no doubt in my mind. Even hypothetically, something that we've talked about numerous times on this show, Ben, many conversations offline. You all may recall several years ago, 3 years to be almost exact. I made a FOIA request for documents pertaining to my entire case. And government responded back stating that there are no documents that are relevant to my FOIA request. I've talked about this 100 times already. Turns out somehow I had 4 or 5 documents in my possession that should have been responded, that were actually responsive to the FOIA request. And so I turned it over to an attorney by the name of Mark Zaid. This is what he does. You see also, what's his name? Moss, who works in the office as well. You see him on television quite a bit. This is what they do for a living. They're great at it. They know this stuff better than anybody. And they filed an action on behalf of the Madison Project with my permission, my privacy waiver. All of a sudden, like 30, 60, 90 days later, whatever it was, we get a response. Oh, sorry. My bad, me bad. We went ahead. We made a boo-boo. You're right. There are documents that are responsive to your FOIA request. In fact, 486,000 documents. So they went from 0 to 486,000 documents. You could read the entire thing in my book, Revenge. It is off the chart ridiculous. This is the problem. Those FOIA documents, those documents belong to the American people, not to government. They belong to us. And FOIA fucking sucks. You can't get shit out of them. And even after you take them to court, they don't care. They continue to fight you. Oh, we don't have enough staff. It's not relevant. It's this. We have to redact it. There's 27 different federal agencies that have to look at the document in order to make sure that it doesn't give away method and process. Fuck you. Fuck, you know what? 2-finger salute. Fuck you, FOIA. All right? How about that? Fuck you. All right? There we go. We got that out early today. All right? Bullshit. Because had I had those FOIA documents, I would know every single one of these cocksuckers from the top, Donald Trump to Bill Barr, all the way down to the lowest level scumbags like Adam Pakula or Enid Phoebus or Patrick McFarland. I would know exactly what they did because all those documents are sitting there as part of that 486,000. All right? Plain and simple. And that's the problem. That's the problem. Government needs to, they need to shape up their shit. All right? Regardless of whether you're Republican, Democrat, or independent. People have to remember, government works for us. We don't work for them.
An early 2-finger salute. We've got much more show, and I got to show you, Cohen, what's going down at Mar-a-Lago over these past few days. That and more, but let's take a quick break. Are you self-conscious about your smile due to stains? Are your teeth aging you? Popular food and drinks are known to stain teeth. Beverages like coffee, tea, and wine stain them over time. So what can you do to brighten your smile? Well, you should give Smile Actives a try. Smile Actives is safe, effective, easy to use, and will keep you smiling proudly. As you probably already know, I'm a big tea drinker like many people. You may be a coffee drinker, and over time I noticed my teeth lose some of their brightness that I was used to seeing. 97% of Smile Actives users in a clinical trial reported up to 6 shades whiter on average, all within 30 days. Simply add Smile Actives Pro Whitening Gel to your regular toothpaste. It's been formulated with polyclean technology to boost stain removal and deliver active whitening ingredients into the teeth's grooves and crannies to get better whitening. Smile Actives makes teeth whitening gel that can simply be added to your toothpaste every time you brush your teeth. So no change in your routine, no extra time, and no more messy strips, trays, or light. People will start commenting on your whiter, brighter smile in just days. Smile Actives is the whitening boost your favorite toothpaste needs to give you the smile you deserve. Here's what you got to do. Visit smileactives.com/beat today to receive a special buy one, get one free offer with auto delivery plus free shipping and handling. That's smileactives.com/beat. SMILEACTIVES.com/beat. BEAT. Terms and conditions apply. See the site for details.
And now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Rhone. If you're like me, you understand the pains of finding out what to wear. Let's face it, most clothes are uncomfortable or too tight or never actually the size that you really are, and not to mention the annoyance of trying to put together a good outfit. And when you finally do have a good fit, you can only wear it for a few hours before you have an important meeting or dinner, and then you have to change. Everyone wants to dress their best and look good at all times because, frankly, it's a confidence booster. So here's the deal. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone stepped up to the challenge. Rhone's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. And here's why. Rhone helps you get ready for any occasion with the commuter collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Rhone commuter collection. Rhone's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. With Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. With the Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Rhone is 100% machine together. I absolutely love Rhone. This has truly become my go-to commuter fit. We're on the move a lot, whether it's jumping from meeting to meeting or catching a flight or an important dinner. The Rhone commuter collection has never let me down. The versatility and overall comfort of the collection is undefeated. And even after I wear it all day, I still feel super fresh because of that Gold Fusion anti-odor technology. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. So right now, head to Rhone.com/Cohen, that's Cohen, and use promo code Cohen to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/Cohen, Cohen, and use code Cohen. It's time to find your corner office. And now, back to the video.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Political Beatdown.
Cohen.
Thank you to our pro-democracy sponsors. The discount codes are in the descriptions below. And here's the thing, though, which I want to really acknowledge. Yes, it's probably easier for me than even you, Cohen, because you're a key witness in this case. But for me to say, look, 30 days, 45 days, this trial is going to happen. Being a lawyer for about 14 years and having that frame of mind about cases getting delayed and things like that happen, I shouldn't what I don't want to do is I don't want to. These are not normal times. And so I want to be very sensitive also, though, to the fact that Donald Trump and this MAGA movement every single day causes such grievous trauma to our country with everything that they do. I mean, whether it's taking away women's reproductive rights, whether it's just the bullying and the attacks on our democracy, you name it, it's like watching Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin, because it really is, take over an American political party, and then watching a media landscape that just normalizes this, and you're watching it and you're like, what? So the Republican Party, they're for Vladimir Putin and they want Ukraine to be destroyed, and they love Kim Jong-un now, and they have Marjorie Taylor Greens and Lauren Boeberts, and they don't listen to facts, and they gaslight us, and they rely on Russian spies and spies from China to overthrow President Biden and to launch impeachment inquiries, and they just lie to us every single day. And then the media just both sides it. Like, there's a lot of trauma going on now based on the repeated lies and attacks and threats to our democracy. And that's why it's so important that we continue to build this pro-democracy movement. And when you hear things like this, a 30-day delay, a 45 delay, justice delayed is justice denied. So I just want to be very, cognizant of that. But Cohen, I want to share and show you this as well, because this is what's been happening at Mar-a-Lago this week. And speaking about this kind of Kim Jong-un style, everything that's taking place right now, this is Mar-a-Lago. So Donald Trump basically hired this singer to come to Mar-a-Lago and she makes this song, and these are the lyrics of the song. His power over us grows stronger yet. And though Democrats turn from you, they glance behind. The president of the United States is in their mind, creating a MAGA version of the Phantom of the Opera at Mar-a-Lago. And that's what's taking place right now. Just watch, like, what in the cult is this? Play the clip.
His power over us grows stronger yet, and though Dems turn from you, they glance behind. The President of the United States is in our spirit and yours in one combined. The President of the United States is in our mind.
Okay, you get
You
the
can't, honestly, you can't make that shit up, right? I mean, let me tell you what I actually saw there. Salty, maybe you can help me on this. In that video, there's a moment where Donald Trump turns to the right, his body, actually, I apologize, to the left, right there. You're going to start to see, yeah, you know what? Maybe he needs to raise the dosage of that semaglutide, because it ain't that far off from, when you're bending over in order to hit the ball and that thing is popping out. He didn't lose as much weight as we all thought that he did. I mean, he makes fun of people like Chris Christie and so on. Look at that waistline on this guy. I mean, talk about, as Jordy would say, yikes, right?
Do we have that one more time? I mean, just Cohen, I want you to, as you watch it, what are you seeing happening here?
What am I seeing?
Yeah, I want you to. I want give me the play. Give me the play-by-play.
And he's enjoying. He's staring at her legs, and he's enjoying the fact that she's singing about him. I mean, talk about obnoxious. First of all, we have to go back to the very simple fact that when Donald Trump refers to Mar-a-Lago, what does he refer to it as? His home. It is not his home. It is a social club that he happens to be living at. Wait, get a load of this one, for free. The idiot members are all basically funding this guy's living expenses, right? I mean, look, if you wanted to, no problem. Pay your fair share. But everybody's paying this guy's living expenses, so that it is a very impressive property. When Marjorie Merriweather Post had that property built, I don't know if people know this. Ben, you mind if I spend 1 minute and tell an interesting story about that property?
No, we're going to move on to the next. Of course, Cohen.
when Marjorie,
of course, it's your show.
Merriweather Post, when Marjorie Merriweather Post passed away, she actually attempted to donate Mar-a-Lago to the United States government. It was under the Jimmy Carter administration, when the country was in a massive, massive recession, right? You remember, I mean, interest rates were like 13% and so on. The country was in real serious trouble. But she wanted to donate that property, and it was supposed to be referred to as the Winter White House. All right? What ends up happening is Jimmy Carter, I mean, for a genius, which he was, this wasn't the smartest Jimmy Carter move of all times. The cost to operate that property, between real estate tax and so on, was $1 million a year. You imagine this shit? And Jimmy Carter turned around and said, how can I commit the American people to $1 million a year in order to take this property? And that's how Donald Trump ended up getting the property, because it went into a trust sale. And then he managed to somehow secure it for like $6.8 million. Could you imagine that? All right. That should have been the Winter White House. Now, as soon as Donald got his hands on it, the first thing he did is he sold off all of the furnishings, which were from all over the world, made money, yada, yada, yada. He also had an insurance claim where they claimed that there was a hurricane that blew some of the rock tile off of the roof, which is very expensive. That was like a 12 million. He made money on the insurance in terms of the whole bit. So that property cost him nothing. But he didn't want to live there. So instead, what he did is he turned it into a club. And the zoning on that is now not residential like it was before. It is commercial. It is no longer a residential property. It is not. Let me say it again, my friends. It is not his home. It's his property. It is a social club that people pay $300,000 bond in order to be there. And nobody has ever gotten a bond money back. That I can assure you, whether they're alive or dead. No one has ever seen that 300 grand ever again. All I can say is that is right then and there the example of who Donald Trump is. You know, it's all about the show. It's all about the appearance with no substance behind it.
You know, when you watch what's going on there on a daily basis, and you see the lady singing to him and talking about your power grows and is stronger I'm watching this and I'm like, what? I'm like, this is America. What in the world? And I'm watching Donald Trump look at her, and it's very, very strange. And then you have this this is what also is going on there. If we've got this this mermaid, they're doing mermaid parties there right now. Do we have a clip of this mermaid party in a bit? Salty's going to pull this up. It's some very strange stuff. And then they have the hearing at Trump Doral, not the hearing. They host an event at Trump Doral, and you've got this prophet Amanda Grace, who's the MAGA prophet. You've got a mermaid party, and then you've got this prophet Amanda Grace. Like this is what it means to be in the Republican Party today. And when they talk about their big issues, this is what's happening at the Trump Doral property. And this was a few months back, but Salty, if we have this one, this is Mac.
Why are we going any further than the fact that they're all fake shit, just like the fake bags that they were selling at Mar-a-Lago a few days ago for the puppy drive that Lara Trump and Eric Trump were putting on, a charity event. They're hawking fake Hermes bags, fake Louis Vuitton, fake Chanel, fake Fendi, fake everything, like if Mar-a-Lago was fucking Canal Street. It's pathetic. Even fake puppies.
Play it, Salty.
There's wickedness attempting to completely cover this nation in perversion and seductive, seducing spirits. I have never seen more images of more mermaids and water people in my life. That's a division in the kingdom of darkness, and they're highly technologically advanced. And we have to understand what we're dealing with. And we have to understand the rules of engagement in spiritual warfare. And we are meant for hand-to-hand combat. And we are meant to bring our cries before the throne of God, to bring judgment on the rulers of darkness of this world and of this nation. Because the rulers have set up a throne in this nation. They've set it up. Darkness has completely covered and eclipsed the White House of this nation.
Okay, that's happening at an event in Trump Doral where Trump's kids speak, all the leaders of the Republican Party speak. That's normal Republican. That's like what it means to be a Republican today.
Well,
right?
Why is Caitlyn Jenner up there?
I don't know what that. Look, I don't know why they're doing that right there, but I want to show people when I watch that, I'm thinking, what in the like, hello media, this is not normal. It shouldn't just be the Midas Touch Network that is that's calling that out. I do want to go back to the world of normalcy, though, and I want to show you some clips from the vice president of the Teamsters, who had a lot of positive things to say about President Biden. I want to share that with you. I want to show you some President Biden speeches. He's actually talking about things like protecting Social Security. Well, where Donald Trump's talking about taking it away, President Biden's talking about healthcare. President Biden's talking about veterans. President Biden's talking about protecting women's reproductive rights, where MAGA Republicans are even blocking bills that protect contraception right now, and they're blocking bills that protect the right to IVF. We have a lot more to talk about, Cole. We got to take our last quick break of the show. We'll be right back.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. If I had more time in my day, I'd spend it with my family. A lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. The question is, Time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? Well, the best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and to make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters to you so that you can do more of it. See, I personally benefited from therapy myself. It's helped me learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. Therapy has empowered you to be the best version of yourself. And it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma like me, because what you're going through truly matters. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. So visit BetterHelp.com/beatdown today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/beatdown. Again, visit BetterHelp.com/beatdown today to get 10% off your first month.
Well, I wanted to call that commercial break, one, because I want to thank our pro-democracy sponsors, but we were getting some important breaking news, and this is some seesaw days right here. So Judge Eileen Cannon just issued an order denying without prejudice Donald Trump's motion to dismiss. There was the hearing that was held earlier in the day, motion to dismiss counts 1 through 32 based on unconstitutional vagueness. That order just came in moments ago. I wanted to be able to get that. We have the full order as well that's just coming in right now. Pulling it up literally as we speak. It says, order denying without prejudice defendant Donald Trump's motion to dismiss counts 1 through 32 based on unconstitutional vagueness. This case or this cause comes before the court upon Donald Trump's motion, denied without prejudice. Defendant Trump seeks dismissal of counts 1 through 32 of the superseding indictment on the ground that the statutory phrases unauthorized possession relating to the national defense and entitled to receive, appearing in 18 U.S.C. section 793, are unconstitutionally vague as applied under the facts presented, in violation of due process and the rule of lenity. Although the motion raises various arguments warranting serious consideration, the court ultimately determines, following lengthy oral argument, that resolution of the overall question presented depends too greatly on contested instructional questions about still fluctuating definitions of statutory terms, phrases as charged, along with at least some disputed factual issues as raised in the motion. For that reason, rather than prematurely decide now whether application of 18 U.S.C. section 793E in these circumstances yields unsalvageable vagueness despite the asserted judicial glosses, I really have no clue what she's even talking about here, Cohen. The court elects to deny the motion without prejudice to be raised as appropriate in connection with jury instruction briefing and or other appropriate motions. Accordingly, it is hereby ordered and adjudged that defendant Trump's motion to dismiss counts 1 through 32 based on unconstitutional vagueness is denied without prejudice. So, you always have to read Judge Cannon's orders, because the headline there could have just simply been she's denying Donald Trump's motion to dismiss on unconstitutional vagueness. But Cohen, Trump's argument was so absolutely frivolous. And when you actually read her full order there, she seems to give merit to what he's saying, that, oh, you raised some good points, so maybe I'll instruct the jury on some of these issues, when it's like, what are you talking about? The Espionage Act, 18 U.S.C. section 793E, has been around for a very long time. You're saying the Espionage Act is unconstitutionally vague. And so she's denying Trump's motion, but she's basically saying, I think you, like, she gives him a runner-up award. I think you made really good points. Let me try to help you out in the future. I'm going to deny it without prejudice now, but you raised some really important points, but I'll deal with that in the future. So I actually think that it's probably not a good order because she seems to be indicating that she's going to bend, which she already did, that she'll bend over backwards for him in all these other areas. That's how I read it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'd really have to go through it again and try to digest it because it's very wordy. And a lot of the words they're gratuitously thrown in there. And you're right. It's like she's giving him the Gaylord Fokker, participation award. It just doesn't make it didn't make much sense to me as I was trying to skim through it, being that, again, Brigaders, it just came out like literally 60 seconds ago. So while we were doing the commercial, the ad break, that's when it dropped. I really have to kind of dissect more. I'm really trying to figure out more why it's without prejudice. What are they giving him? Ben, you're right. Every time that there's a decision by Eileen Cannon, you have to read between the lines, right? Yeah, read between the lines, Eileen Cannon, just so you know. I'm not sure why it had to be without prejudice. I wasn't sure why she was giving him the Gaylord Fokker Award. I don't know whether she was referring to the Espionage Act as far as him or whether or not the fact that they raised it, it's a constant. I don't know what she's saying. Again, it's really very jumbled. Whoever
Poorly
wrote
written.
it's not concise. Let me put it to you that way.
Well, and to me, if she's giving any credence to the unconstitutional vagueness of the Espionage Act, I mean, just think about that. So she's basically saying that anyone who's been charged under the Espionage Act could have raised this issue to federal judges, that it's unconstitutionally vague, the statute that Congress
Is she saying that the statute was vague, or was she saying that the prosecutors averment in the action was vague and it wasn't specific, or what have you, very much like the motions in limine that they've been filing all over the place?
Yeah, it's a combo of both. What she's saying is that it's the language in the statute is unconstitutionally vague. This is what Trump was arguing, as applied under the facts presented here. So as the statute is written to Trump's theft of national defense information, Trump's saying it's vague as applied to the facts. And she's saying, I'm denying that without prejudice. You could be raising good points that the jury may want to hear, but I'm going to deny it without prejudice right now. Let's talk, though, about what we were going to talk about before taking the commercial break, which is I want to show you this VP of the Teamsters who came out and, I think said some important things that, I'm glad CNN had him on, but they have him on and then they don't talk about it anymore. And then they want to push these other narratives. So here's a Teamster VP right here saying that he feels pretty certain that the Teamsters will be endorsing President Biden. Here, let's play this first clip.
So based on what you heard in the meeting today, will Biden get the Teamsters endorsement?
I feel pretty certain he will, based on the tone and tenure of everybody in the room. And, I wasn't present for the last interview with the former president, but everyone sort of made a big difference between, a candidate of grievance and a candidate of action, and doing things for the labor movement and working men and women across the country.
So,
candidate of grievance and a candidate of action. And here the VP of the Teamsters talks about how Trump is like that old story regarding the snake. Play the clip.
that the president of your union has met with Trump more than once. We've got images of them together at Mar-a-Lago, so he has taken the time to do that. I know you have chosen not to do that, as you just mentioned yourself. Is that what your rank and file want? That they wanted to make sure that he did meet with Trump as well? Do you think that was important?
I think they argued that was the reason they did it. I would just say that, the old story about a snake nursing it to health and then it bites you. you knew it was a snake when you handled it. So Donald Trump is what he is. He's been anti-union for decades, and I think we're wasting our time. So I may be, I'm probably obviously the one that didn't attend, that takes a very different opinion of dealing with people that aren't going to help you.
And I want to share this one thing with you, Cohen, too, which is, if you remember, one of the ways Midas Touch even first started was when me and my brothers and Brett's ingenious editing, we were just making videos just to try to describe what we saw in 2020. Midas Touch started almost 4 years ago to this day. I think we officially started March of 2024. I'll get the precise date, and we put forward this video because Trump would go out and tell the story about the snake, and he would use it in a xenophobic way about immigrants coming in. So we took Trump's video where he talked about the snake story that he would tell, and then we put in the clips of what was happening at that time. So when I saw the VP of the Teamsters talk about that, I want to show you this, and then I want to give you the final word. But let's play. This was what put Midas Touch on the map when we were just doing this. We didn't know what we even were, but play this clip of the snake.
Who has heard the poem called The Snake?
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
Well-documented and severe financial downturn in the past year.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
You are one.
All right.
And it's more than anger, it's hatred. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
Down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. You'll absolutely love Trump steaks.
More than 150 former students allege Trump University was a fraud.
Persistently illegal conduct at the president's charity.
Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman. Sigh the vicious.
Would you denounce what happened in 2016?
President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
He withheld the money, he withheld the meeting, he used it to coerce Ukraine to do these political investigations.
The American embassy in Baghdad under siege.
She stroked his pretty skin again and held him tight.
The Chinese government awarded Ivanka Trump's brand 7 new trademarks.
They're a pack of grifters. His campaign manager's got 2 condos, a Ferrari, a yacht. If they're all just fleecing the campaign.
That snake gave her a vicious bite. The coronavirus. This is their new hoax.
The U.S. now leading the world in deaths.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
This is a great success story.
I have saved you, cried the woman. And you've bitten me, heavens why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die.
We want to terminate health care. And then I see the disinfectant.
Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
That's how we started.
You can't make this shit up. I mean, let's just turn around and acknowledge that Donald Trump is the snake in this story, plain and simple. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. He's a grifter to the nth degree. He doesn't give a shit about anyone or anything other than himself. It is a perfect analogy for Donald Trump and the sycophants that are around him. You take him in and he bites you, and everything that Trump touches dies.
And that leaves us with his final act. This final campaign is truly for the heart and soul of our nation. You never have such a contrast. On the one hand, you got Biden, pro-democracy, respectful, empathetic, loving, fact-based, diligent, surrounds himself with a team of the top people who work with him, actually dealing with the problems, supporting our allies. And then you've got Trump, who personifies everything that's bad with our country, with the world, from just the meanness, the mocking of people with disabilities, mocking our veterans, mocking our country. attacking our allies, supporting our enemies, behaving like a buffoon up there. You've got Donald Trump just constantly attacking our democracy, calling himself Trump this, Trump that, Trump says this, Trump says that. It's everything. You know, thinking back in the day when Sacha Baron Cohen created the movie The Dictator, when the South Park guys would mock Kim Jong-un, when you looked at all of the horror that existed in those authoritarian countries, and that whether you were a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, we would always be united, at least in some basic core principles. There would at least be a floor. And now the floor's been destroyed by MAGA. The depths of depravity have been unleashed in our country, and it is so critical. Don't care if you're a Republican, if you view yourself as conservative, if you're an independent, if you're a progressive, if you are a liberal, if you love our democracy, if you truly care about the United States of America and our Constitution, we are with you here at the Midas Touch Network, here on Political Beatdown. And we're going to keep on growing this pro-democracy movement and make sure our democracy is protected. Hit subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Michael Cohen's Mea Culpa podcast as well. It's the Mea Culpa Blue, not the Mea Culpa Red when you search it wherever audio podcasts are available. So make sure you search that and subscribe now. Subscribe here to our YouTube channel. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers. Let's keep growing that together. Patreon.com/Political Beatdown is where you get some great content. We will not be doing an after show today. We will be doing on Tuesday, will be the live. We've got a lot of news coming, and we want to be very respectful of a lot of we want to talk about certain things, but we can't talk about things for obvious reasons right now. So we're going to not do that now. We will come back on Tuesday, and we'll be able to speak about all of the updates once everything becomes clear. Thank you for being part of this movement. We're so grateful for you. We love you. We're in this together. Spread the word. Cohen, thanks for everything that you do. You do as well.
And thank you, Ben, and thanks to our brigaders for everything. Thank you to those who actually went on that GoFundMe that Adam Parkmenko, created. It's every time I go down to the DA, I have to bring counsel with me. This is getting out of control. Personally, I wanted it to go forward on March 25th so that I could ultimately do my service there and then call it quits and then get this, get my life, back moving on track and not be subject to meetings and to review of documents.
I selfishly wanted you at my wedding.
I selfishly wanted it too, but accountability, that's more important. I'm willing to sacrifice 30 days for accountability.
Me too. See you later, Brigaders.
Thank you all
so much. Shout out to the Midas Mighty.